Exercise 13-2 will take us through the process of creating a door schedule, the table that will give us the information about these door tags. So if we look up, for example, door 101 here in this coat closet, we'll be able to find out the particular information about that. It'll give us the relevant information about its size and other information that we put in that table. We decide what goes in there, how much detail is found there. So we start by going to the View tab, and under Schedules here, under Create Schedules, we can see that there's a link to create a new schedule. And you can see there's lots of different kinds. So we're going to limit this right here to architecture. If I turn these on, I think they might be on by default for you. You'll see that there's a bazillion of them. So if we just turn off the other structural, mechanical, electrical, piping, we'll see just architecture. Scroll down just a little ways and we'll see doors. It automatically names it door schedule 2 because, again, one already exists and we won't mess with the other settings. Hit OK. And here we get to decide what fields are going to show up in our table. These fields are possible fields that it could exist within a door family. And so we may have information in our family that is populated already and maybe not. So we'll find out real soon. And the book there at the top of page 13-7 tells you which fields to include. Now, as you include these, it puts them in the order, top to bottom, or as we'll see, left to right. But for this view, it'll put them in at the top. As we add additional fields here, it'll put them down underneath. So a couple ways to add those fields. We can go in here. The first one that says there on 4A is it needs the mark field. So we come down here, you can select it here and say put it over there. Or next one we want is width, so it's at the very bottom. You can just double click it and notice it'll put it down below the most recent one that you added. We need the same for height. Then we've got frame material, frame type, and fire rating. And notice that these populate again in the order that you place them there. If you need to readjust them or decide later that you want to change them around, you can just select it and then move it up or down a row. And don't hit OK quite yet. We've got a couple things we want to do. Under sorting and grouping, we want to tell it to sort by the mark, and we want that ascending. That's going to be the default behavior. And that will take the mark again as the number of that door, so it makes sense to go in order. And being that our numbers get bigger as you go up in levels, our zeros will be down at the basement level, 100s will be at the main level, and 200s, of course, upstairs. That's what that does. There are some other things in here that we can look at later, but you can always access these when you're done by going into the instance parameters. So we will hit OK for this, and notice it will create a new tab and a new schedule over here in our project browser. You can see that there's now a second door schedule and it's open. So here are those fields that we added. There's the mark, the width, the height, and of course it's sorted by mark. You may notice a space here. That's something that by default is how Revit creates the legend. I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm going to go here to Appearance. Notice these are the same tabs that we dealt with a minute ago. Okay, I'm just in the last tab now. This is kind of a shortcut right to that tab. And this right here where it says blank row before data, I'm going to turn that off. And notice it gets rid of that extra space that I find unnecessary, but you may like it. And again, where you work, they'll have their own preference, so you don't have to sweat it too much. But again, if I wanted to go back here and modify the fields, if I find out that my family, for example, doesn't have any of this information populated, then I may want to just dump that row. So I could come in here and say, okay, I don't really need to see frame type in there, so I'm going to actually just toast that out of there. I hit OK, and notice it disappears from our schedule. Okay, I really want that in there actually, so I'm going to put it back, Control Z. And then from there, we would want to place this door schedule. So before we do that though, I think the book takes you through just a concept, which is that they want you to understand that this is just another way of viewing your doors. And so if I actually come over here and delete a door, for example, door 102 is the one they have you do it. I just put my cursor there and it selects that field. But notice that up here I've got columns and rows. I can do things. I can insert or delete or resize these things. Here under row we've got deleted. If I toast that happened. That door 102. Let me go back to first floor. That's this guy right here. Okay. Notice that when it's selected in the row in the door schedule, I have 102 here. Place my cursor right here at 102 and go back to the first floor. That door is now selected. I get its properties over here. Okay. So again, they just want you to know that these two things are linked. If I actually come in here and under 102, I'm not sure what the lag is, why it's not letting me select 102. There we go. I hit delete. It says it's going to actually delete a door. You're not just removing rows from the schedule, but also deleting the associated elements and geometry from the project. I hit OK, and notice back to my first floor, that door's toast. So just be careful as you mess with your schedules. Just know that they are linked to the actual element, and you will lose them if you delete them from that schedule. Control Z brings it back. I found something interesting over here in my schedule. This is also a good way to kind of check things. But I've got a door number 20 somewhere. Okay, so I want to go find that door. It's selected now, so I can zoom out. Yep, sure enough, it's telling me that I've got a single panel door right here that I have failed to rename. Looks like I must have messed that type up when I placed it, so I need that to actually read the same as the room that it's opening into. So 201 is that door. Come back to my schedule and notice now it falls into line because remember we told it to sort by mark number. So that's that door now just fell into place. So the rest of my marks look good. I know the book said don't put the double zeros in there, but I did anyway because I'm a rebel. But from here though, I wanted to hop over to a sheet that is already set up as scheduled. If I go to this sheet down here, A15, I've got it open right here, you can see that the door schedule that comes with the template's already placed and populated and ordered. It's sorted. This is how it was set up in the template. Okay, so as we place these doors, it was automatically put into the door schedule. Okay, and notice that this is kind of a duplicate schedule. Again, if I place our new schedule that we just created, scroll down or go here to the schedules. You probably have to open that up. It may be collapsed, but pull open the door schedule that we just created, drag that onto this page. You'll see that ours looks the same, but just keep in mind that they're linked to the same elements, underlying elements. And if I come in here to this door schedule 2 and delete that door 200, or let me delete that there. It says you're going to delete it. Notice that if I go back to my schedule sheet, door 200 is also missing from here. So again, it's all linked. It's all just one model. And these legends are pulling data from that model and populating based on the elements that you have in your model. So, so again, Control Z to bring that back. I've got my 200 back here and here. And that is the chapter.